Wish poppin' YouTube, it's your girl KK, and in today's video, I'm about to be installing a 5x5 lace closure wig on my client. Here, I'm just starting with her hair already braided, and I'm gonna gel her edges back with the Liquid Gold by Bold Hold. It was just a 5x5, so I was trying to make her edges kind of like swoop a little bit, so in case they peek through the wig, her edges be laid too. I'm gonna blow that on warm just to set that. And when that's dry, I'm gonna apply her wig cap for the ball cap method. But we only gonna do the top where the closure is gonna sit, because that's the only thing that's lace. Ain't no need for the whole thing to be done. Now I'm gonna take some more of that liquid gold from Bold Hold and just melt her cap. Gonna get that to stay down. And the purpose of a cap is so that the lace doesn't irritate your natural hair and kind of cause breakage. And it also protects your scalp from the lace, because the lace actually itches. But with the ball cap, it's like a barrier between your scalp and the lace. I'm gonna get that everywhere that I think the closure is gonna sit, and blow dry that as well. After that, I'm gonna take some Bold Hold Active. That's the glue that I'll be using. And I'm just gonna put that all around the cap so that the cap for sure stays down. I use the liquid gold first because it's a barrier between the glue and her actual hairline, because we don't really want to put glue on her actual hair. That is not safe. And if she takes this wig off the wrong way, that's what can cause her hair to fall out and pull out, things like that. Because the liquid gold was dry underneath there, I could go ahead and just cut off the excess cap, because we don't need that. Blow dry that bold hold on cool just so that it dries up faster. And I didn't want this wig all the way down to her forehead, so I'm trying to take as much cap off as I can as possible. I'm going to take my cream foundation. I think this is the color 15. I use the darker shade. And I'm going to just blend that in. You always want to get a foundation color that's real close to your client's real scalp so that there's no line of demarcation. And I'm going to take some alcohol and clean her forehead off. So there's nothing preventing the glue from sticking. And I'm also going to take the Bold Hold skin protectant and apply that. If you don't use the skin protectant, numerous things can happen to your scalp. So just always use the skin protectant. I'm going to go with my Bold Hold Active. This is my first layer. It's pretty thick. Like pretty thick. So I'm probably only going to end up using just 2 layers. But when you're doing this, you want to make sure that that glue is thin and flat as possible. And if you notice, I'm putting glue on her hair, her forehead, and on the cap. Because we want to have a lot of glue space to have something for that wig to adhere to. The more glue, the better. Not the thicker the glue, but just the more space that the glue takes up. The more area covered with glue. I'm waiting for that to dry. See, when it's real even, it dries all clear. It dries even. But before it gets too dry, I'm going to put another layer. You want it to be dry, but you don't want it to be too dry. You want it to still be a little tacky. You only got a couple seconds before you get to that tacky stage, from between tacky and dry. Because when it's too dry, it won't stick anymore. Sometimes I take the blow dryer to speed up that process, the drying process. And I'm going to just take her wig and lay it right into that glue. The front of that wig is going to go where the front of that glue is at, very flat. Press it in with the back of the comb. You don't want to use your fingers because your fingers have oil, and oil transfers. It makes the glue white. But as you see, if you use the right color foundation, it'll be flawless. Like the lace is still there, and you could probably barely tell that the lace is there. I'm going to use my Lush Boutique edge wraps, and I'm going to wrap that around her front hairline to secure that lace. And I'm going to ask her to help me hold it at the top so that it's flat and secure. And I'm going to tie that pretty tight. It's Velcroed in the back, but sometimes I like to tie it. This color was so pretty on her. And I'm just explaining that she can part it either way that she wants, but she decided to go with a side part. I'm going to take my hot comb that I got from Amazon. It's an electric one. And it works pretty well. And I'm going to just get the base of my style etched out. I'm going to always sew the back of that wig down so that it's secure and it ain't going nowhere. And it's pretty simple. My main thing is just making sure that the back of the wig is underneath the braids, basically. So when she lifts it up in a ponytail for working out or anything, it's undetectable that it's a wig. Onto the curling process, I am using my 1-inch barrel curls, and I'm curling away from her face. So as I do the left side, I like to curl like away from her face. So I'm gonna put the tail of the curl around the top of the barrel, and that's gonna help me go away from the face. So again, I clamp it in the middle and bring the end of that hair strand around the top of the barrel and roll it up, click a couple times, roll and click, till that curl is complete. Then when I get to the right side and I want to curl away from her face, I'm going to use the same technique. I'm just going to put the tail around the bottom of the barrel so that curls away from that direction, away from her face. So away from her face. The right side curls towards the left and the left side curls towards the right. And I hold my hair, the tail underneath for the right side and over for the left side. Again, I'm curling away from her face, so I'm going to put that clamp. The tail of that hair is going to go underneath. It's going to go towards the bottom of that barrel. I curled this first one with the curling iron, and I didn't like how loose the curls were, so that's when I switched. So I'm just going to go ahead and curl that one again. Curl it over at the top of the barrel. Use my spritz. I know spritz is my favorite thing, but I'm going to go around the top of the barrel, twist and click. Perfect. I learned this technique from Erica J. Around the top of that barrel, twist and click. On the top of that barrel. And then here at the top, I noticed that that closure was kind of lumping up because the wig was too big for her. So I'm just trying to find where the braid is at so I can know where to sew the braid at. But I'm going to take like 3 or 4 of those tracks and I'm going to sew them together, making the wig cap smaller, but also sewing them on her braids as if I was like doing her weave. But I'm just trying to group a couple of tracks together to pull them down. And you can already see it's flattening that top piece out. So we don't want her to have no cone head. Taking a few of them tracks and just clumping them together. You can already see that's tightening that so well already. I'm just grouping a couple of them tracks together and sewing them together. So it's not so much loose space. You can also do this in the back if you felt like it, but if you felt the need to. But in the back, it wasn't as lumpy as the top. It wasn't lumpy at all. The main concern was the top. But for someone who the top was, the middle was a little bit lumpy, I would do this in the middle as well. My client here, she did have a lot of hair. So she thought that her braids would be thicker because typically people do thicker braids on her. But since mine were relatively small, we didn't need all that space. That's why she got a bigger wig, thinking she would need more space for her big braids, but we didn't do big braids. I'm gonna just continue the curling process on her. And she did get this hair from Ali Pearl. It was really nice. I really love the color. It was easy to curl. It did tangle a bit, but it was fine. Nothing a little bio silk won't knock out. On the other side, I'm going to take it underneath the barrel. Same pattern. Once I get to the middle of the head, I kind of switch directions. See, it was a little nappy. Go underneath that barrel. Ooh, baby, scalp. Pure scalp. Period. Closures are probably my favorite. And they used to be hard for me once upon a time. Like, I could not get that little closure to look natural. But I got the technique now. We're going to use a razor to get this off so it's a little jagged. And please be careful with this razor because you do not want to cut a client. I've done it before and it's horrible. Scalpiana. Take that spritz. That spritz is going to help melt it. Y'all know I love me some spritz. Melt it and lay that hair down. I love me some Fantasia spritz, baby. Can't tell me nothing about the Fantasia. Whew. And a little bit of foam to mold that down. That looks so natural already. And again, we're going to wrap that with my edge wrap to melt that down and hold it in place. And get those baby hairs trained to come forward. Press that out to get that hair flat right there. Use my spritz. I love using spritz because it gets that so flat. And I like to do my baby hairs with mousse. And since I molded it down, it's already flat down to her scalp. So I don't really have to put the mousse anywhere near the lace. I'm just molding it basically like on her head. I am still being gentle, but because I'm not doing it on the lace, there's really no mousse touching the lace. I don't have to be too careful, and I don't run the risk of her lace lifting. Sometimes I have to use a little bit of liquid gold just to get them where I want them, especially if I use a little bit too much mousse and it makes them too wet. The liquid gold kind of makes it stiff again. Yes, now coming to the end of the video, if you have made it this far, then you are a champion. And if you like this video, leave a comment down below. Tell me that you like this. Show the love. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.